this last period before hard times, because before it was easy for us. So we used embargo, and we passed through a special moment. It was called the special time,
Special period.
and a special period. We don't have.
How did the collapse affect Cuba? Well, that's because Cuba sold their goods, primarily sugar, to a price way higher than the market price, and then they imported their goods, primarily oil, for a price way lower than the market price from the Soviet Union. And then you can wonder why the Soviet Union was willing to support the system, and that's simply because Cuba at that time was a communist country, close to the United States.
And when the Soviet Union collapsed, Cuba lost 75% of their income, and then the special period began. And then the people were forced to find their income in other places. Cuba's population lost everything. They were out of food, and all the stores and supermarkets were half empty.
As a result of the Soviet Union collapse, the Cubans were forced to introduce an additional currency, CUP, which is the Cuban peso, and the new CUC, which is the Cuban convertible peso. The Cuba we see today is characterized by rationing, poverty, and growth. However, the partially privatized economy is particularly expressed in private accommodation, casa de particulares, where private families earn money by leasing rooms to tourists. On our trip to Cuba, we have focused on the two currencies' impact in Cubans' everyday lives.
I'm standing here in Santa Clara, which is the first largest city in Cuba. If you look around, you can see Cubans wearing colorful clothes and they look happy. But all of this changed before the Soviet Union collapsed. Before the Soviet Union collapsed, the Cuban has the same living conditions as us. They could go on vacation, then they could earn money and save money. But all of this changed after the Soviet Union collapsed because the Cuban economy was based on the Soviet Union.
We went to visit one of Cuba's local supermarkets, and what we noticed the most was all the empty shelves. It is quite astonishing compared to Denmark, where there is never shortage of goods and food products. As said before, Cuba was forced to create a new additional currency, which is named CUC. We have asked around if there has been any conflicts regarding this secondary currency.
That's the big problem of our economy right now.
Okay, what kind of?
At that moment, from the very beginning, it was necessary. The government was compulsory to have two currencies.
Yeah.
So, in order to continue with the development of the country. So the government didn't like, tourism at that moment. Why? Because, tourism is very good, but at the same time, attacks, prostitution, drugs, and so on. So that's why the government was afraid of doing, but it was compulsory to open tourism. To international tourism to the world, and it was compulsory. Government was compulsory to, take this measure to introduce another currency in Cuba, in order to survive, because this was hard currency, and this hard currency gathered by the government so they can go to the international market and to buy oil. Remember, we lost, the market, socialist market. We didn't have market. We have to go to international market and to buy oil. And the only crop, the main crop at that moment was sugar cane. The production of sugar, and the prices of sugar were very, very low. So the only incomes that the government had at that moment is to have this convertible backed with American dollar. The moment was American dollar. It has to introduce this inside a society for, to continue the development of the country. Now,
So, yeah.
of course, it's easy for Cubans, local people as well, because got the same price everywhere for everyone.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, if you, for instance, for me, it's easy to have convertibles. For me,
Yeah, but for
through the tips. But there are people that they work in a factory. Or those people rolling cigars. So maybe they can have, they earn many local pesos, but not convertible.
No.
And they have to go to the convertible shops in order to buy things. So that's why you can see, I mean, those long queue in places to change money.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we have just one currency, nobody have to change money. So you have your currency, you have your salary, and you go there and you buy everything in just one shop. It's easier for us.
It's easier.
For me, it's easier because I have convertible in hand.
yeah.
I go directly to this place, and the same articles you are not going to find same articles in convertible shops.
So you can buy more stuff with convertible.
Of course, in local peso shops, you are not going to find electrodomestic appliances.
Oh, okay.
You cannot find many things, many items. But in convertible shops, you will find, I mean, electrodomestic appliances and something else.
Ask for the special time because the United States government they put on us embargo. No, area embargo will affect our way to live. You know, way to live where we have to buy things very expensive when we make a comparison with other countries. You know, and we pass through a special moment. It was called that special time.
Special period.
And a special period. We don't have a lot of things that you can imagine were lost because it was so expensive to us to take it. But we passing through that. And now, okay,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Have you experienced any problems with these two currencies? Because
No,
no,
to
nothing.
us it's something normal. No.
Nothing, not any problems.
Normal. It depends when you work or you live in the tourist places.
The fact that there are two currencies is not well seen by the Cubans, and there is a hope for a merged currency again. Tourist currency CUC is 25 stronger than CUP, where one CUP is about 30 Danish cent. The introduction of a secondary currency has created more inequality in the Cuban society, since the possibility of trading with CUC has not been available for all Cubans, but only those who work with tourists. CUC also provides access to some special items and some special shops. CSC was introduced in 2004 in the hope of more economic growth and a more stable economy than the former. Moreover, you can say that the economic growth in Cuba in itself has become a more independent and self-supporting country. Cuba's transition is especially seen in the tourism industry. It has increased significantly since 1985, when there were 3,000 visitors a year, unlike 2011, where there were 2.7 million visitors.
Instead of staying at a state-owned Cuban hotel, it is now possible to rent rooms in private homes, the so-called Casa de Particulares. Here the money goes to private individuals rather than the state. It is a way for Cubans to make more money, and the income can be significantly higher than being an employee of the state.
As CUC was introduced, the tourists paid more for their products than the Cuban people. The idea of CUC was making money on tourists, but also make sure to keep prices low for the locals. But as the Cubans also are beginning to use CUC, the CUC has now reached a level equivalent to the CUP.
Therefore, the Cuban government now tries to abolish the CUC, but it is a long process because the state is no longer profiting in having two currencies. Cuba's economy is recovering, but the Cubans' everyday lives are still dominated by rationing and poverty. Cuba's growing number of visitors per year is very positive for the economy. It creates great economic growth, and the tourism sector grows, and thus formed more jobs, which also benefits the state.
The CUC is pegged to the American dollar. Most of the Cubans are paid in CUP, although most consumer products are priced in CUC. The system with two currencies, where one is unavailable for many, is frowned upon. In 1993, Castro legalized usage of the American dollar in Cuba because Cuba had lost several trade relations. Although use of the dollar had previously led to prison punishment, Castro was forced to accept the dollar because his country was low on hard currency. So-called dollar shops opened up, and the dollar's introduction in Cuba led to more tourism. In this time, the state workers were still paid with COP, which meant they earned a lot less money. In 2004, the dollar was replaced with the CUC.
So now we are in better condition. We can do it by ourselves. We can do it with our money, but it's quite difficult for the government to balance and to have equivalent of this money, our money, local money, and the convertible to this.
A lot of things that you can imagine were lost because it was so expensive to us to take it. But we passing through that. And now we are in the new period of our life. Okay?